What if I told you the wildfires in Los Angeles weren't natural disasters? What if they were part of a larger, calculated plan? A plan to erase private property, force people into controlled zones, and reshape the way we live forever. Entire neighborhoods reduced to ash, while elite mansions remained untouched, fires spreading in straight lines as if they were following a blueprint. A suspicious land grab happening right after the flames died down. Now, cities around the world are introducing 15-minute cities, zones where everything you need is within walking distance. But here's the terrifying part. What if these new urban zones aren't about convenience, but control? And what if the LA fires were the perfect excuse to accelerate this agenda? Stay with me, because the evidence we're about to uncover might change the way you see the world forever. For years, Los Angeles has faced devastating wildfires, but the recent fires, they were different. Residents started noticing bizarre patterns. Homes burned to the ground, yet trees around them were untouched. Powerful laser-like beams captured on video just before fires erupted. High-value real estate mysteriously spared, while middle-class neighborhoods were wiped out. This wasn't just a natural disaster, it was too perfect, too targeted. And then came the land grabs. After the flames settled, developers swooped in, buying up land for cheap. Suddenly, plans for high-density, walkable cities were being pushed harder than ever. Officials began restricting rebuilding permits, subtly forcing people into urbanized zones. Do you see where this is going? Now let's talk about how this connects to the 15-minute city agenda. On the surface, 15-minute cities sound great. You can walk or bike everywhere, less traffic and pollution, supposedly better for the environment. But let's ask the real question. What happens when you want to leave? In some cities, governments are already experimenting with traffic permits. Want to drive outside your designated zone? You'll need approval. Want to travel frequently? You might be limited by carbon credits. Want to relocate? Your options may become restricted. And guess where these 15-minute city zones are being proposed? Right where wildfires have cleared entire neighborhoods. Think about it. Homes are gone, residents are displaced, land is cheap. Perfect conditions for the government to reshape cities as they see fit. Still think it's just a coincidence? Wait until you hear about how this ties into global agendas. The World Economic Forum, one of the most powerful global organizations, has been pushing a radical vision for the future. They call it the Great Reset. One of their most famous slogans, "You will own nothing and be happy." Let's break that down. Fewer people owning homes. Instead, governments and corporations will control most property. More digital currencies and social credit systems. Want to travel? Your carbon footprint will be tracked, restricted movement. You'll be encouraged to stay within your designated urban zone. And now, let's connect the dots. First, the fires wipe out independent landowners. Then the government promotes 15-minute cities as a solution. Over time, private property vanishes and everything becomes state-controlled. It's a slow transition into a fully controlled society, and if you don't comply, you'll be locked out of the system. The evidence is overwhelming. But the biggest question remains, is this already happening? Los Angeles isn't alone. Other cities worldwide have also faced suspicious natural disasters, only for 15-minute city plans to be rolled out immediately afterward. Maui wildfires in Hawaii. After the fires, locals were blocked from rebuilding while wealthy investors took over. Canada's wildfire surge in 2023, one of the worst fire seasons in history, right as Canada ramps up its urban zoning laws. Australia's bushfires in 2019 to 2020, huge fires, followed by a stronger push for climate-controlled smart cities. The pattern is clear: wipe out homes, displace people, rebuild with sustainable restrictions in place. And now, the question is, who's next? Let's step back and ask ourselves, are 15-minute cities the future of sustainable living, or are they part of a terrifying plan to control human movement? And most importantly, was the LA fire crisis part of something much, much bigger? One thing is for sure, too many coincidences, too many restricted zones appearing overnight, too many people warning that this is just the beginning. Right now, these are just theories. But history has shown that governments have used disasters to justify major social changes. So now it's your turn to decide, are we seeing the start of a new era of control, or is this all just paranoia? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay one step ahead of the truth, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the world is changing fast. And if you're not paying attention, you might wake up one day in a world you don't recognize.